Welcome back to the PGL Major Krakow 2017. Our fourth day means it's elimination day. It also means it's promotion day, as we see at least 5 teams making their way through. Actually, make that 6, because my maths is terrible today, and it has been all day, so nothing changes sometimes. But something does change, and that's the panel. We've now got Janko and Sponge back with us. Good afternoon, gents.
Good afternoon, Paul.
Are you okay today?
I'm feeling great.
Are you?
Maybe had a bit too much pierogi, but...
Right.
You know,
always a problem in Poland.
Yeah, it's going to get sorted out by itself eventually.
Okay, good. Less bell movement from him and something more positive from you, perhaps.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that last game of Counter-Strike.
It was good, wasn't it?
Gave me some emotions.
Yeah.
Right? It's been a while since I watched a game like that, and I've thought this is a banger.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know what was special about that one
It's
for
a bit
me.
kind of a... I want to say 2 heavyweights going at it head-to-head and just slugging it out in Mirage.
Yeah,
That's how it felt to me.
Some crazy big shots, some really nice plays. It was sick.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Hopefully a bit more of that, and we've got a good game ahead of us, haven't we?
I'm really excited about
goodness.
this next one, right? The weird thing is both of these teams have the same storyline getting to this point, right? They both started off with really close matches, you know, then they got blown out by teams that they probably, well, SK for Astralis is a 50-50 one, but, you know, Gambit for the G2 guys was a bit confusing. And then, you know, everyone's a bit uncertain on what to expect from these guys going through the tournament. And then their last match against teams that they probably should have beaten on maps that they would consider maybe within their top 2 or 3, they had really rough times, you know?
Yeah.
So very similar storylines to this point.
And they're both 2-1. We'll start with G2 Esports. It's a team that have done quite well in recent months. In the last 3 months, in fact, they've been arguably one of the top 4 teams in the world, and they've won tournaments. They've proved that they could do it. The super team is effective and it's working. Got to deliver at the major, though.
Yes, they've shown promise, but something that they haven't shown is we haven't seen them play against Astralis on LAN yet. So this, funnily enough, yes, G2 is probably top 4 there with FaZe, SK, and Astralis, but these two teams haven't met on LAN just yet. And the story of G2, of course, is the complete opposite of Astralis. They are very inconsistent in their performance. You could see them win a big LAN tournament like we saw them win Pro League finals, and then at the next tournament just bomb out in group stages and not leave, you know, too big of a mark. Even in Cologne, they didn't make the playoffs, but then lost to Navi in the quarterfinals after having big leads on both maps, Overpass and Nuke.
Yeah, I have played online a number of times this year, both in ECS regular season and in ESL Pro League regular season. They've kind of split the matches between them, although G2 have a slight advantage. Are they going to use any of that knowledge now, or is that just out of date already?
I think the head-to-head, especially with these two teams, you know, if you crunch the numbers, Paul, you get the stats. You know I'm a stats man. You can see that the way that these guys approach the game is in 2 completely different ways. If you get the opening frag and you're on Astralis, you're converting like 90% of the rounds. I'm making these stats up, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
so,
no, they're totally true.
Like a true stats expert.
Exactly, right? But then on G2, they're not used to getting the opening frag. They're used to having players make space and then trading perfectly onto site. So when you have these two guys go head-to-head, it doesn't really matter about what you like know from each other and the way you play the game, especially with the way that G2 approaches it, because the pieces might not always fall the same way. If you're very reliant on clutch play, you're going to lose to a team like Astralis. So I hope they have a more concise game plan coming into this matchup than what we've seen from them in the past.
Turning our attention to Astralis, Janko, they're the kind of team that you know they're going to deliver. I mean, they're very rarely outside the top 4 over the last 6 months. They are the best team in the world in terms of what they've done over the last 12 months, and the reigning champions, of course. But there always seems to be a question mark over them, never more so than when they've come to this major in particular, because they haven't been as impressive as we would expect them to be for their high standard. Yeah,
and we haven't seen them as much as some of the other teams. And for Astralis, yes, you never see Astralis, they still have never made it 3-0 out of the Swiss stage. You know, there's always a loss somewhere in there, but it seems like they do a very good job of peaking at the right moment in the tournament, right? They improve it every passing game. They raise the level of their game as well. And the reason why people maybe continue doubting Astralis time and time again is because they don't have a star-studded lineup in a sense, or as much firepower as maybe G2 has, or FaZe, or SK, or any of the opposing teams. But what they do have is amazing team play and better teamwork than any of these teams possess, and that's why they're able to just be better than the sum of their parts, right? You have maybe the most explosive player on the team is Kirby, most likely. Device, we've seen him in this tournament, again, very good with the AWP, very mobile, but it's not on the levels of, you know, it's not as flamboyant as something we see from Simple or Nico or maybe even Fur at times, Fallen, right? And that's why maybe you falsely think sometimes, yeah, Astralis maybe they don't really have it, do they?
And not only that, their results show that. All of their games are always quite close. They never really have blowout victories, right? Then when they have best of threes, it's normally like 2-1s. You don't see them really having those games where they just completely storm away with it. I think we had the interview with Device yesterday after they played, and he said they were feeling like they're playing a bit looser. And I think that shows especially with the stats, because someone who is benefiting from that at the moment for these guys is Dupree. He's having some good games, you know, and that's something that when it gets to the brawl, like we saw back, where were we looking at this one? Was it between Katowice? Was it Astralis and FaZe back then? My memory's terrible. When it got to a brawl between those guys, that's when players like Dupree step up and they can win, get those multi-frags, have those clutch situations, and the fundamentals of Astralis, they're still there. That backbone is still there. But then the different players start to shine, right? We're not just talking about, you know, the fundamental fantastic AWPing of Device and how well Zipnix can play, you know, anchors and bomb sites and that kind of stuff. So they do have the depth, but as Janko's pointed out, it's not to the same flamboyant level of an SK, for example.
And it's odd that we get these two teams coming together. Astralis have already played SK in this one as well. Now they get G2, so that's 2 of the top 3 teams that are effectively behind them. So tough road for them. Does that, in some ways, if they get through this and they then qualify for the playoffs, which they will if they win this match, does that take a load off their mind a little bit? Do you think they gain and everything like that? We've often talked about these best of ones are relatively meaningless when it actually gets to the best of 3s.
I think, if anything, it might depend on which map is played, right? If the veto goes a certain way and you end up playing a map that maybe you're not as comfortable on and you still manage to take the win, maybe going into a best of 3 later on in the tournament and playing against the same team, that can potentially give you an advantage in that sense. But I think no team is going to be mistaken by having a win in a best of 1, leading into best of 3s, thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be a piece of cake. We already beat them in the tournament. You know, this is going to be an easy game.
Okay. We're going to get more from both of our panel members in just a moment. And we're also headed towards the map vetoes as well. So we'll get those on your screen just as soon as the players are ready to get into the lobby. However, in the meantime, why don't we check in with a man who's become a bit of a meme over the last few months, never more so than the apex of civilization.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Apex of Civilization. I'm Parla, your host, and I'm joined by Matt, please compose.
Oh, hi.
Sadakist, Sapphire, Prius, and DDK. Do you want to say hi? Say something.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Dan.
This is a game show, a very entertaining game show, where we will be impersonating the Apex meme. These are the rules. Can you see them, guys?
Do you want to read? I can't read. Do you want to read them to me?
I'll read them to you. The rules are impersonate the Apex meme, score each other out of 10. And the score is based upon posture, acting. Dan, can you not shuffle when we're in class?
I have a question. What if we all give each other zeros? What are you going to do then? Do you decide?
Whoa, were you going to give me a 0, Dan?
Well, I don't know. What if you're really bad? I'm not going to fake it, you know, just because...
I have faith that you're
At
going...
least that's better than most
I
of my
have
Tinder
faith
dates, so.
that you are all going to take this very, very seriously.
Absolutely.
The final factor is originality. Of course, this wouldn't be a game show without a prize. Thank you very much, PGL, for this amazing t-shirt. Do you guys want to see it?
No. I'm going to win it. I'll see it in the mirror when I win.
Please, make this easy, okay? It's a wonderful t-shirt, limited edition, PGL Major.
Beautiful.
There's a lot going on, yeah.
Stunning.
Very festive.
Stunning. Thank you very much, PGL, for that. Up first is Sapphire. Please take the floor, Heather, and show us what you've got.
Okay.
Guys,
So-
remember, she can do whatever she wants. It's all about posture, acting, and originality, so keep that in mind.
All right, so the scene is a best of 1, and I'm observing. So, ready for a good day here? Just one map, get it out of the way. Time to watch the vetoes. So, all right, Mirage, Inferno, those are gone. Too bad, those are good maps to observe. And then we've got, Cobblestone and Overpass, they're out. All right. Okay, Train is gone. So, okay, what's left here? We've got Cash and, oh no. And here comes the last veto. Nuke.
I knew it was going to go there. I knew it was going there. As soon as he started the veto, I was like, Observer's Nightmare, and this is it.
There we go.
Thank you very much, Heather.
Okay.
Scoreboard. Very simple. Name at the top, other names at the bottom. Give me a number out of 10, and we will make a score at the end based off those. Daniel, in fact, you are the first person to score Sapphire. Out of 10, 6.
6. Okay. It's above average.
That's generous.
All right.
That's like, I'm not saying you're average, I'm saying could do better, but there's something to work
Okay.
with.
Okay.
Prius.
You're only 7.
7.
And finally, Matt.
I was gonna go 7 as well. 7 as well.
See, now you guys are making me look like a dick.
Well, you are a
Great.
dick. So it's
the
fine.
overall score, you won't find out until the end.
I can do math. It's 20.
It's 17. What's it?
It's 20. Shh.
It's higher than
Matt,
DJ's bowling
don't spoil
score.
the show. Moving on to contestant number 2. Would anyone like to put themselves forward, or
Who's next?
DDK's next, I agree.
DDK, you are up next. Please take your position.
So do I have to
Don't
like,
look at the scores.
do I have to set the scene and everything? Because you can do whatever I want. Okay.
Originality is about coming up with things yourself. Don't ask me, don't ask them.
Right, okay.
Yeah, negative a point already.
Okay, well, I'll just go with what I think Apex was feeling in the moment. Sacre bleu!
That's not even French!
That's definitely French. I learned that at school. I didn't learn many things at school, but that was definitely a thing. Sacre bleu, no?
I thought you said something else.
Je suis c'est
I
très
thought you said
mauvais.
something else that I can't repeat on
I
camera.
know it.
Because that's a risky thing to say in Poland, Dan.
Prius, please, if you could, score Daniel out of 10.
It's an 8.
It's explosive, come on. Is that 8?
It's an 8.
Whoa,
Heather.
nice.
I would say a 7. I'm a generous person. I had an 8 because I like the posture, but the hand, you kind of flipped it up here. And you know, it's supposed to be, you know, you got to pay attention to those details, Dan.
4. Delivery was average. Acting and scene setting was terrible. Dan could have done much better.
Final 2 contestants are Sadakist and Prius. Who would like to go first?
Prius. Thank you.
Whoa.
Me, dude.
He's keen, he's got a plan, he's got a plan.
Guys, I'm ready for Prius.
All right. Here I am observing the major. Observing jokes are great. Best of 1, C9 versus another team. And
Daniel, your delivery was no good either. You stop it. Continue, Prius. I'm with you here, buddy. I got you. You're my boy, Blue.
we got Dan and Sidicus casting. We're on cobblestone. I'm spectating someone over at B, and they're talking about the action at A. So I switched the action at A, and there's nothing going on. And then a kill happens at B. I'm like, no! I missed the kill.
Poor observer life, man.
You
This sounds like a
really-
nightmare.
I got casturbated.
You really, oh, he used the word. You wait. Okay, he used it.
Masturbated.
Yeah.
I like it.
Congratulations, Prius, on a fantastic performance. Daniel.
So the way you got up from the chair, it's like this guy, some serious shit's about to go down. That was a 10, right? That bit was a 10.
Wow.
Then you started to go down towards like a 4. But then the human emotion started to come up there, and so I just, it's gonna be, I'm gonna say, can we do halves? Can we do?
No.
Bloody hell.
It's too hard for math.
Ruins 8, so I'll give him an 8.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, man, thanks.
Taken
Matt?
by that display of emotion.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's tough. It's tough. I could feel his pain as well. Maybe the emotion was there. Start of the delivery, maybe not. I'll go 8 as well. I was gonna go 7, but I'm going 8.
Thanks.
Sapphire.
I'm disappointed because we've had this word casturbated for a while. And it's just something him and I kind of share. Like, oh, Matt just totally casturbated me.
Did he just
And
reveal one of your
I do that a lot, by
deepest
the way. I
secrets?
do that a lot.
The
That's French.
delivery
This
was,
guy.
I was so excited about this word that we wanted to coin, we wanted the right moment, and at the very least, he should have, casturbated right
So
there.
he
But it
prematurely
was
casturbated.
prematurely casturbated. So I have to go with the 5. I'm very disappointed.
I used it for a t-shirt. I need that t-shirt.
We have one final contestant. Some say he is the pride of Canada, others say that is completely untrue. 99% of people, in fact. It's Matt.
I'm no Justin Trudeau. Thanks guys, appreciate it. Scene needs no setting, it's just, well, we might as well do the real thing here. Give it a minute, has to load, doesn't know where I am right now. Oh, oui. No. Oui. Ooh, oui. No. No. Oh, no! I meant to say yes on her.
Nobody got it, so I'll explain it. He was
Thanks, Paul, I
pretending.
appreciate it.
He was pretending to flick through the app, and then accidentally said no to
Oh,
a
mon
potential
petit chéri. I
suitor.
should have said, oh, mon petit chéri. That would have been the 10, but I'll take the 9s, guys. That's fine.
A potential suitor that he would have preferred to have given a chance.
I just wasted a super like on this, by the way.
After that tragedy, Daniel, what score would you give Matt?
It's honestly just definitely confused. So, 5.
Okay.
Confused about what, Dan?
I don't know what just occurred at the podium.
Prius.
Some things need no explaining.
On a 7.
Thank you,
Which
Prius.
is alright.
Thank you, Prius.
Both the best.
He doesn't want to get casturbated.
Industry.
Carry on.
I'll split the middle with a 6.
They're just jealous. Thought my posture was perfect.
Posture is very
I forgot all the posture thing.
Thank God. See? New score, please. New score, please.
Thank you to all of our contestants for taking part. Could I please get your initial feelings and reactions after this potentially life-changing experience?
That girl actually was hot, so just happened to be the wrong timing with the act. I had to say no.
You can all talk as well, okay?
All right. But you have to tell us the scores. We're waiting for the...
No, we have to give our first reaction. This is about as lost as you ever. You cast, Dan.
I don't
Just
know.
follow along.
All right. Okay, you go first. Lead
I
the way.
did. I said I'm unfortunate
Okay,
that
that's
that
cool.
was.
Okay. I don't know. This has been interesting. Emotional.
Again, a typical Dan casting. that was a great play.
Oh my God. Okay.
Blanket statements from Dan. I'm going to start a series. It'll be like 18 parts, just cutting down.
Prius,
That was pretty cool.
Sapphire,
Was it?
did you enjoy yourselves?
I'm just happy to be here.
That was cool. Cool experience. Cool everything.
Good.
Excuse me? Okay. Guys, the scores are in, and we
Easy, Steve Harvey.
and we can and we can finally reveal who is our winner. Starting, however, with last place, it's Matthew Sadakis Trivet, 18 points.
Sometimes people don't recognize my genius. What can I say? Carry on.
In third place, also known as second last, it's Daniel DDK Kapadia, 19. Daniel, this is a no swearing show. And the observers are our final two. In second place, an honourable 20 points, Sapphire.
Acceptable, yeah.
And that means, of course, in first place, it is Prius.
21.
21.
Well done, Prius.
Well done.
More kills than you catch in a game. 21. Way to go, buddy.
It's the best.
I would like to thank our contestants, Sadakist, Sapphire, Prius, and Daniel, for taking part. It's been a pleasure. My name is Parla, and this has been the apex of civilization.
Memes everywhere. Thank you very much, Paula. And we are ready to get into the vetoes for our next matchup, which is G2 versus Astralis. The three of us are on the panel right now, looking forward to this particular veto. Which way is it going to go, Yanko? Still with us?
It's gonna be, I don't know, Paul.
Just pick them out.
Just like how many points would you give to this map, though, Chad?
Look, yeah, we were saying let's bring this out really serious, right, Yanko? So we obviously know that the ban's going to be coming out. Cobblestone's going to be going for Astralis, and we are most likely going to see the Mirage ban for the boys from G2. Those should be the pretty standard. So
they're
getting
Mirage
rid
and Train.
Yeah, I thought, the Train's an interesting one to go. Maybe something that G2 not feeling too strong on.
I think here is where, you wonder if Astralis vetoes Inferno. Like, Cobblestone and Cash are going to be their two go-to vetoes. And then it's like, do we veto Inferno? Do we go for maybe Nuke? How confident are we on our Nuke versus G2? I think that's the big choice here for Astralis. Do they veto Inferno or Nuke or even Overpass potentially?
The nuke from Astralis yesterday looked pretty shaky, right? Like the total setup that was coming in from Fnatic was a bit of an issue for them. They couldn't really play around it, and the big worrying part for me, and obviously for them, was they couldn't convert any afterplant situations or any retakes, right? They were having a rough time, and that's why that game was so close. Another Inferno game. What's going on?
Yeah, it seems like it's the middle ground for a lot of teams. Here it was for G2, Mirage is the obvious ban, and then it was, okay, do we want to veto Train? Do we want to veto Overpass ourselves? Which map do we want to play against Astralis? And I think they win in this veto, so to speak. I think Inferno is a map that can be pretty good for them when you look at how they approach the map individually, how they play their CT side. On the other side of things, I mean, Astralis, one of the best teams in the world at adapting and adjusting throughout the game. So you have to expect them to be very well prepared for this matchup.
They played Nuke, Train and Cash when they have clashed as G2 and Astralis in the last few months online. Not going to get one of those. So
yeah, okay. I guess you would be G2 seeing that that Astralis lost to SK 16-8, right? So if you're looking at that, you're going, hey, maybe we can exploit the same weaknesses. But unfortunately, you don't have Cold Zero on your team, so that's kind of a problem coming into this.
They do
one.
have Kenny S.
Yeah, but the same level of impact from an AWPer as someone as hybrid style as Cold Zero is definitely difficult to obtain. And I think a lot of the executes that G2 have, the cookie cutter ones from second mid, the stuff that the French are known for, it's all good and well if you're versing a team who's lesser than you, right? And you can just get away with pure skill. But when you're versing a team like Astralis, who are going to understand exactly how to react when that execute comes in, I don't see them having much grace there on their T sides. I think it's going to have to be a pretty hefty CT side performance from the G2 guys, poking and prodding a lot with those AWPs. I've been criticizing Shox for picking up the AWP a lot, but he's been having a good game, good couple of games. So whatever he's doing, keep doing it. And I think I guess the biggest key to victory right now for G2 is making sure that you can punish Astralis for any mistakes they make, right? Because we talk about them being super fundamental and super on top of the game. The only way that you're going to get away with beating these guys on a map like this is, I think, really just crushing them and giving them no hope.
All right. Thank you very much, gents. We're ready for our game, and we'll head over to our commentary booth where we've had a refreshment as well. Why don't we just say good afternoon to them as well. Gents, how are you doing?
Had a few refreshments, actually, Paul. Doing well.
Yes, we don't talk about those. Moses is still recovering.
True. It's true, actually. I hear that. I saw sunglasses on him inside. I don't know what that's about.
It's just he's got sensitive eyes.
True.
And if you believe that, you'll believe anything. Gents, take us away into the game. G2 Astralis looking such a great game.
Yeah,
it is.
It's an interesting one as well in that, G2 is technically a challenger team, but we're in a position now where there's going to be some heartbreak. We've already had Na'Vi knocked out of this tournament. By the way, that guarantees, as my cable comes forward, that we have two, at the very least, challenger teams making it to the playoffs because Big's already gone in, FaZe is already out, Na'Vi's out. That's two Legends home, obviously, do the math. So it's all the games at this point are going to be unpredictable, I think, in a lot of ways. I could see some very surprising results. Even if SK were to struggle even slightly in this group stage, it's going to cost them.
Well, the results we've had so far suggest that's definitely going to be the case. The fact we had Gambit and Big making it through into the playoffs first. I don't think anyone saw that coming. It's going to be an unpredictable major. But this one should be one of the games of the day. Two Titans going at it. G2 versus Astralis. And yeah, like the guys said on the desk, G2 definitely an up and down team. You never really know what you're going to get. Can be lights out. So much firepower available. A great unit. Astralis, the consistent team. But we're playing Inferno. And they played SK yesterday. And they looked pretty weak. They said they're coming into this tournament with a looser play style. And that's, I think, always been their problem on Inferno. I feel like they're turning up and firing all cylinders. They look very good on that because they stick to like a 5-man formation, going up into a set of positions and kind of using gut instincts to get into those bomb sites. They don't have that much to fall back onto if the looser playstyle doesn't go well for them, and you don't really have the really in-depth executions, I don't feel. And you could see their weaknesses against SK yesterday.
I think I agree with that. I think that, keep in mind, SK battered Astralis as well quite heavily. That it does show. I don't know what we expected to see from Astralis. Obviously not going to Cologne focusing on this event, but having not seen them on really a big stage in a while, it is possible that this team could take a step down from that, just not being as active as of late. They seem to be a team that I've never thought of them as a boot camp team. It's more of a trial and error team. They've improved steadily throughout the course of their playing rather than...
I thought that was such a blunder, not going to an event like Cologne.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a massive deal. Like, yeah, sure, it wasn't a major this time, but still, just the prestige of that tournament. I would feel like gutted as a player, sat at home watching that when it's all going on. I was watching that kind of magic and drama unfold. I thought that was a bad move, but obviously they wanted to focus on this one, go for the double major championships. If you're not aware, of course, Astralis, they won at the last major over in Atlanta, and looking for the double header, I guess, at this one.
That's right, yeah, back-to-back championships, trying to repeat what SK essentially did. Obviously, SK didn't do it as the organization twice. They did it as Luminosity the first time, but it would be the only other team to do so if they were to achieve that. Meanwhile, SK is looking for their third to match Fnatic, and yeah, Fnatic's still in the fight. But G2, French side, haven't had a win since way back in Cluj-Napoca. Very different scene at the time, and have been trying ever since to rebuild and get back to the top.
Oh, they've definitely got the firepower. It's always been a matter of it's not if, it's when with this team. They've had some decent successes over the last few months, but then had some abomination of tournaments as well. So hopefully we can see a decent G2 show up today. I do slightly favour Astralis, but to be fair, we were talking about the setups of G2, the CT side especially. We know that double orb setup's going to be coming out eventually. That's going to be Shoxy and Kenny S. Astralis are a funny team like that. They're obviously a top 3 team in the world, and they don't have a double orb setup. They can't fall back onto it. And the way CSGO's played right now, it's either that's what every team's aiming towards on most CT sides, and Astralis just don't have that right now. We've seen Dupree experiment with the idea of being the secondary AWPer, but that comes out maybe once every 5 or 6 games or something like that. They don't really have that to go back on towards, so which is fine, but it's like I feel like that's the optimal setup in CSGO right now. Double orbs and each tower on either bomb site. And do we feel like Dupree is going to try and experiment with that more? Do we feel like that could be something they've worked on in the downtime?
It's possible. I mean, it is certainly a team that doesn't necessarily... I mean, you used to go back to the TSM days, and you had 3 oppers ultimately on this team. You had Device T-sided opping, and then Cajun B on Dust 2, Kerrigan on Mirage on CT side.
That was actually one of their massive problems. They couldn't establish the roles within the team. They had too many people wanting to warp and then wanting to rifle, and it was crazy to think that that's now the exact opposite. They don't have double orb.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They're one of the only teams without an active double op setup, and in some ways, I actually think that does hurt them obviously situationally. But some teams also get too committed to the double op and make mistakes and overcommit to it, so it can be helpful in that way, I guess.
Na'Vi are a good example of that when they first got Simple. Obviously, they've crashed out the tournament now, but when Simple first joined, they were trying to force them onto double up every single opportunity. Even on maps like Cobblestone, where that's a very situational setup, they were bringing it every single time you could afford one. He's going on the AWP, and they just weren't having any success of it. They've obviously adapted since then, but G2 are definitely one of the teams that fall into that same sort of bracket of trying to force that setup on Inferno, especially as well. I'm sure we'll see it come out. You are able to counter it, but still, like players like Shoxy, he's very good at holding lines. Like he's very good at a more passive AWPer as opposed to Kenny S, of course. He'll be playing towards the B bomb site, trying to get himself established. Like if he can hold B by himself, he'd be very happy with that. But using the right utility, you can push him back and then force a rotation, and that's something you can play with, knowing that setup's going to be coming out eventually. But we'll see. This should be an exciting game. We'll have a look at the results so far for both of these teams. Obviously, it's a 2-1 game. The winner will be going through to the playoffs, and you can see the results so far. Not the best tournaments for either teams, I have to say. Like we said, Astralis getting battered by SK Game on Inferno. 16-8 the scoreline there. And G2, they lost to Cash against Gambit in a similar fashion, 16-6. Like those are one-sided affairs. The games they've been winning as well. G2 beat Cloud9 in an overtime matchup on Cobblestone. Wasn't exactly convincing, but they got the job done. Same story against Na'Vi as well. 16-14 against Na'Vi. That was a weird map. That was the whole coin flip incident.
That's right. Yeah,
they could have played Nuke. They went for Overpass instead, but they still managed to win against Na'Vi on their best map. So that's decent. But Gambit was a little bit of a rocky affair for them on Cash. We'll see if they can step up here today. Astralis, last game they played, we casted it. Fnatic on Nuke against Fnatic, of course, 16-14. Very exciting game. It seemed like it was one of those matches where Device couldn't get rolling in the first half at least, and he just went absolute beast mode in the second half once he got on the CT side. That's what we thought was so good about him, right? The fact he was changing his position every single round, going towards outside, secret, catwalk, heaven, ramp, pushing hard with the AWP, and that's something you can do on Inferno as well. He can definitely bring that to the table. You've got plenty of options, just to limit some of them as well. So you've got the boiler room, you've got apartments, middle. You can push down to second mid if you want to. Banana. There's plenty of options to go aggressive and try and find the first picks.
Yeah, absolutely. That was really nice to see, because we often see, and I will point out someone who was guilty of it. People like Skadoodle that weren't dynamic enough, that weren't changing position enough, that weren't being assertive with the AWP. And Device, that was some of the best rotation and dynamic play I've seen on Nuke in a while, versus someone who I would have claimed perhaps was the best before, Cajun B on his op, has become a little more static toward heaven, predictably. Sure. So it is good to see. I kind of like that from the CT side on Nuke.
It definitely makes for a top AWPer. That's how you can really define like a good AWPer from a world-class one. Someone who takes the game into their own hands, is willing to step up, make their own decisions. They don't need a leader to tell them. It's where, depending on their spawns and where they're feeling that their enemies are focusing towards, you're just calling, I'm going here this round, I'm going here. And that's what is kind of indicative of someone's talent and ability on the CT side of the AWP. That's something I look out for a lot, and Device has certainly got that under control, and I'm sure we'll see it here today as well. But Kenny S, he's a master of that. He's up against very difficult opposition. Maybe he can't get rolling, who knows. Kenny S, if he is having a decent tournament like we've seen so far, it's very difficult to take him down in those one-on-one duels.
He's been on the rise, Kenny, for some time. Getting back to form. He was most noticeably hindered by the op nerf, which was ages ago at this point.
Sure.
But that was sort of the end of godlike Kenny. He's gotten back closer to that, at least.
Yeah, we heard him in an interview in this tournament, and he feels good right now, but he knows he's not playing his best. Like it's enough probably to win some games and get the top of the scoreboard, but he doesn't feel like he's at 100%, and that's quite a scary thought considering the way he's been playing. He still feels like he's not quite there yet. He's not in fifth gear perhaps, so maybe he gets better as the tournament goes on. Who knows?
Well, the tournament will go on for either of these teams, either to the playoffs or into round 5. Remember, this is a winner's match, so they're sitting at 2-1. Unfortunate part of, well, obviously losing and having to play again means you have to do it quite quickly as well. Those matches are later on this evening to finish out the group stage. They'll redraw after game 6, which will be our last game, Henry. So we do 3, and then they'll redraw for the last 3 games, and we find out our last teams.
That's when things really go wild. That's when things get very, very exciting, when everything's down. You're the last game of the day. We do have a break tomorrow, of course, before we get ready for the playoffs. But in terms of teams that are not playing today, obviously we saw Gambit and Big Good Free, like who would have thought. They get to watch the games today and have a day off tomorrow as well. So that's quite a nice prospect for them. SK, I think everyone's a little bit gutted that they didn't make it through. It seemed like they were almost dead set with that matchup against Big. You think they're gonna cruise through this bracket. They're gonna have a 3-0 for sure. I guess that's probably one of the biggest upsets we've had in this tournament so far. We've had a lot of them. That would probably be the number one, I would say.
Number one in terms of an individual game, I would say number one upset overall is obviously FaZe going out 0-3.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's impressive from Big. The good news for SK is it's not an elimination match, so they'll fight on, no question.
Absolutely.
Coming up shortly, in fact, they have to play their Brazilian counterpart. Now, if that was an elimination match, could you imagine Immortals not making majors 4 times on the bounce and then show up and knock out SK? Like, sorry guys, we're here now. That would be a remarkable feat. So
we can see the problem on the screen. Coach communication problems for G2. That's, of course, Smiths.
We did see Smiths, yeah.
We can talk about him for a little bit. Obviously, was a player for so long. He's probably one of the most experienced kind of Source/CSGO players we have in the scene right now in terms of he's been playing back when I was playing, like 2005, I think I first played against him. And he's been like top of the scene ever since he came onto it. He's always been at the top of the French scene, and when he came into CSGO especially, been some of the biggest lineups, been part of the most successful French lineups as well. And towards the end, obviously a little bit of a controversial figure with some of the drama went down in some of his performances, and he decided to drop back once his quote-unquote super team was formed at G2. He took a kind of a backseat role and went towards a coach. And he's always been a strategic mind, never known as an in-game leader, but someone who helps out and makes sure he's on the server doing the homework with the analysis and stuff and making sure that he's on top of the strategies and he's lending his brain to that procedure. And now he's going to be the coach as well. He does work with an analyst at the same time, so his more role is kind of look after the team on the server, make sure their morale's in the right place and no one's getting overwhelmed, for example, and kind of chiming in when they need it, if you can spot problems. And then the analyst works on the more theory side of the game. He's like countering other teams, watching their demos, working out what's going to be the best point of attack to take them down. So he's kind of feeding information to Smith that he can give to the guys in real time when the game begins. Zonic, same role, another legendary Counter-Strike player from 1.6 pedigree. He's got the notes in hand, always seems to have a dossier of information. It'd be interesting. I'd love to know what they bring to the table. I've never actually sat down and read some of those notes.
Well, for good reason. You don't get access to an NFL coach's playbook.
And no, exactly. I'm saying it would be interesting just to have a look.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If you run over there, I'll distract him.
Oh, we look there.
We almost get
screenshots.
All right, let's go CIS. Zoom in. We'll enhance. Yeah, that is the word. And we'll get all. He heard us. Yeah. He's hiding it.
So he's got screenshots, right? So that means like that could be potential like setups or smokes or angles I like to hold. I don't know. That's
it could be a screenshot of what a smoke looks like when someone counterplays you, or what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's.
I've wondered this. So no coach communication during live time, but what about hand signals?
I was thinking, right, and this is obviously just me thinking.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I was thinking, you're like, I'm going to do it on you. Like, and you grab the shoulder and he's like, oh, well done, mate. Could you like have some sort of signal, like
Morse code?
Double tap means they're going to be eco.
Yeah,
you're tracking the money in your head, you're writing it all down, you just like tap them.
That's what you said yesterday with Big. If like they're tracking the money, like just look at him and he goes yes or no.
Yeah, you just look up.
Because, I mean, truthfully, they're trying
to... He can hear you. Goes, you can just look around and should buy. You just go, nod.
Yeah, I mean, one of the arguments was obviously they wanted the players to be making decisions in the game themselves and not, basically 5 bots, if you will, running around with sort of a chess master. But someone was saying like, oh, well, in real sports, coaches can't talk to you while you're on the ice. Well, yeah, they can. My coach used to yell at me as loud as he could whenever I made a mistake or whenever he wanted me to move the puck in a certain direction.
That's why you see like football managers get sent off the pitch and stuff like that. They get really invested in the game and they get frustrated at their players.
Yeah.
What else could you do with that? So I guess if you have a set piece or an execution in mind, you could have like a little Morse code thing. 4 taps means the slow A execution.
Yeah,
this is all speculation. I'm not saying anyone does this.
No, I know, but what is the ruling? Is that a gray area? Or is that a no-no? Is that, in your opinion, based on the rule?
I think it's fine if you're not talking. The rule is you can't talk.
Yeah.
So I guess that's absolutely fine. I don't know. An interesting thought. It was something I decided in the shower.
Someone's going to be listening. They're going to go do it tomorrow. We're going to be to blame. Valve's going to throw us out of the event. We got banned for breaking the rules.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly food for thought, perhaps. Anyway, G2 will be starting on the CT side. It looks like we're almost ready to go. Hopefully Smith gets his headset sorted momentarily. And some of the Danes on your screen right now. Kiabi, one of the stars of the last major, looked very good indeed. Finally found some form. He definitely had a rough time when he first joined his team. It was similar to AZ, like one of the superstars from Dignitas, brought him to Astralis, and then you think, oh, he's going to be just as good as Dignitas. And it took a while. He wasn't amazing from the get-go, right? Then he kind of warmed up into the team and got better and better. I think the addition of Glaive really helped him out. He looked amazing once he came in.
Definitely looked amazing. I mean, like we said, it was last year at Cologne when he was standing in. And that was at the time when the Danish depth sort of only really existed with then Dignitas, now North.
Yeah.
And there, guys like Glaive, we always knew they were around. Like, you heard Glaive's name, you heard Fetish's name. Didn't really know much of them because they weren't performing at a Tier 1 level. He was obviously on the team that became Heroic.
Sure.
And then got poached from them, and things kind of all transpired as they did, and all of a sudden Glaive is a staple again in the Danish scene and in the community. And when he was standing in at that event, I thought, oh yeah, he's doing better than I expected. I haven't seen this guy in a while, and lo and behold, here we are.
He's another player that's been around for ages as well. Like he was another big name in the Danish scene and Source. So very experienced and always been known as not necessarily like a legendary in-game leader. I've always known he's a very intelligent guy, and he definitely wasn't one of like the big kind of heavy-hitting names, but he's always in decent teams, so he's got a lot of experience, and obviously one of these guys, their first major, so that was amazing for him to come in and pull that off. Getting the double, though, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not as excited as I was about Atlanta,
Yeah, they're prospects.
Yeah.
Well, Anders didn't say for 4 months they were going to win, so that's probably why. He does control the simulation, as he likes to remind us.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think right now, I thought coming into this, we've got so many teams that are playing so well. The top level, SK's bounced back, obviously, with Phelps, and I think they are a step sort of ahead of everyone. We're going to get into this, by the way.
We are
about to jump in, but it's looking like they've got the lead at this point. But, teams like FaZe getting knocked out early kind of puts a damper on things, because I thought they, Astralis, even G2, but on the rise as of late, SK, we'd have a mix. I'm not sure right now. A lot of teams are kind of underwhelming me.
There's no clean favourite. So obviously SK probably number one, but after yesterday's result, you have to ask yourself some questions. Like, can they rely on Colsera to get 35 frags every game? Is that going to work out for them? But nevertheless, let's get into this one, shall we? Astralis on the T side of Inferno. 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs, 2 HEs. The HEs usually used towards the top of Banana to stop any CT pushes coming down, but Kiabi, he gets in position. He pushed back just yet. Nades towards the bedroom area, and Shox takes one to the face, down to 60 points of health.
Backs off. Immediately, Device will start to work up with Zippix toward the apartments. they'll push on to Banana Bomb, not in that direction yet. And I do say yet because Xyp9x has gone back across the bridge to the bottom of middle. So he's closer to his teammates. Device is hoping that their pressure on B would cause a rotation out of A and he'd catch someone, and then my guess would be if he did, they would start to rush back and counter that kill, but they may still get it right because there is 3 in B. The rotations went back through CT instead, and there's only 2 players left on A.
Yeah, we've got Glaive watching for the flanks. His teammates getting Apartment's control. They can throw the smoke from second middle. Normally smoking the arch side and then towards the library as well. Can smoke in front of the pit if required, then flashing out. Start of 2 flashbangs, and this will be the A finish from what we can see so far. 3 players up to the apartments, and considering the CT setup very passive, Kenny S chance to be smoked out here as well. There's the flashbang and final commitment. The smoke does indeed come in. There's a cap for Stylus. Okay, this team's covered.
Couldn't quite get the shots through. No, looks like it's well placed. Bomb down for dupreeh behind the pillar. Best vision of it from pit, but they've got 2 players in the site itself. All 10 still alive at this point. Won't end that way. Certainly not, because Apex has a good headshot onto Glaive. That'll allow a push in from the apartments and from the top of middle. Apex finding Kiabi as well, and wanted to hold for the best position possible in the post plant. Apartments to see the bomb. Getting closer to Moto. They're already around at quad. It's all G2 on the retake. Finally, they get a kill from the Astralis side. Device to do so, but they've got a kit, and they'll have time for the defuse.
What a retake that was. That's how you do it. That's textbook Counter-Strike there. When you know you've got 3 players towards a particular site, instead of fully committing to the bomb site itself, go for a more passive methodology there. Wait for all 5 players to arrive for the retake, and Apex starts hitting some wondrous shots there from the flank of Banana. 2 kills to kick things off, a 5-on-3. Still, to give Astralis a shout in that matchup, considering they've got control of the pit, the bomb site, graveyard, but working together and not giving anything away. G2 dropping a single frag there. That was perfect from Astralis. The build-up was very nice. Forced a rotation over towards B. They did those 2 smokes I described, one towards the arch, one in front of the library. That segregated the remaining CTs who were playing that passive setup. Couldn't really do much about the plant, but they could do a lot with that retake. Very impressive. It's going to be 1-0 in favor of G2 there. A couple of rifles coming out. 3, in fact, with the Famises. An MP7 from BK and shots on the UMP. This is going to be the full eco for Astralis. AK is coming out in the 3rd. We'll see whether they can possibly get the bomb down. Very unlikely without the smokes and the flashbangs.
dupreeh's going to wait as well. Boiler for anyone to charge forward and get aggressive. Curious as to how quickly we see the double op setup from G2.
Oh, it'll be coming. This is their favorite map to do it on as well.
That's a Hank G guarantee.
I remember when they played, I think it was a Star Ladder. I remember speaking to Shoxy. He goes,
yes.
there's no one that can counter this setup.
And then they lost.
I was like, all right, it looked good in the group stage. I'll give you that. Let's see what happens in the playoffs. Then got wrecked in the playoffs. So, yeah. Well, you know.
That was when you were buying into it. You were on the G2 hype train. You thought they were the best team in the world before group stages were even over at that event.
I was higher on the G2 drug. I won't lie. I was very excited about that.
Well, it is a boost up for Device to see above smoke. If Shox makes the wrong move, he will be found. Here's him drop down, but won't be a push through. He's backing off. Smoke not going to last much longer. Make a bit of noise. Take the bomb back down toward the bottom of middle. Get ready toward A. Shox will recheck with a flash. They haven't heard them run back, so in fact, Apex is rotating the opposite direction. If they overwhelm NBK or Kenny, they'll at least get a bomb plant. NBK only with 1. Kenny with a good angle. Smoked out. Has to peek. Finds the headshot. Should be able to tap in to get the rest. He's trying to preserve ammunition. Ooh. And gets taken down by Device in the process. Apex rotates back in, but they do get the bomb plant. That was the goal. They can hold it off with the gun picked up. It's down. It'll be even better. Glaive still making it interesting.
That's a bonus in itself. The fact they got the bomb down, I didn't think there was any sort of possibility there. Showing a bit of presence towards B, boosting up, trying to do some damage there, and then actually finding kills as they come back towards the A side. Very slow, very patient. All the teams don't really put much stock into these sort of rounds. Just go for a straight-up rush, but Astralis there, very intelligent. 3 kills, bomb down. They're definitely buying the next round regardless. They could buy an AWP if they wanted to at this point. Lots of money to work with. 5k on Xyp9x. I'm going to go for the 5 AK setup here. The adjustments start to come through. G2 still with some cash, they're absolutely fine. The AWP comes out for Kenny S. So here's the only AWP on the server right now. And BK and Body have to adjust and reinvest with Famises. A couple of kits, 4 of them to work with in fact. Decent utility, but I'd still give Astralis a slight edge in terms of 5 AK-47s. We'll see what happens there as Kenny S heads towards middle. Going to be a very aggressive AWP on Inferno. Not going to be fully committing towards a T-step just yet. Holds up for now. It is going to be a very default round from the Dane. Each side. We'll see what they can do here. Dupree holding towards second middle. Device and Kiabi going for some banana control here. CD presence almost non-existent at the top of banana here. A lot of teams like to challenge out of the start, throwing some incendiaries now, but Astralis will be aware they've got control. Nice utility just to clear out those key choke points.
So a flash over Device, firing into the peak position, the angle at the top of banana. That's a bit rude, Device. Absolutely no need for that.
Well, very quiet so far. Still having 4 smokes up and available for Astralis. Guardian Device with the banana control. Body there by himself. Very good anchor player, but could find himself in a spot of bother. Mid control coming in as well. This is looking very good. Still with the utility, haven't had to expend too much. Push the CTs back. They don't really have much in terms of information to work with here. Shocks in towards garbage, but where's the bomb heading? For now, going towards top and middle.
Double smoke bounce, flash to follow. Will try and enter. At least it looked as though he wanted to, but backs off. Teammate's not ready. He'll go back out toward the end of apartments now. Push through the smoke. He put down and find NBK. He's down below. Is able to follow up. No response. Glade's still looking in the backside of the pit. Doesn't realize. Device does get the trade. They nearly go into a preset flash against Kenny. He's stuck against the wall. 2 versus 2 on a retake. Kits for both players on the G2 side. Molotov left for Dupree. Bomb's default. Molotov's going to go out early, though, to hold off any rotations back in through apartments. Body instead. Going directly to the site. Very early for that Molotov, I have to say. Body gets ever closer. Dupree will play it off. Information finds Shocks immediately. And inside of the site, Body has to go away and into the bomb. That should force the peek back out. Kiabi's actually gone away from the apartments. He's rotating back around quad. Body should not be aware of it because he just came from that same position.
Lovely round there from Astralis. Great work, generally, managing to get the banana control towards top and middle as well. So they have all their smokes, their flashbangs to work with as well. CTs looked very cagey there, didn't want to overcommit. I think with the FAMASes, they might have done a little bit better if Kenny S went more aggressive there. You can see him struggling towards the outside. Once he got flashed off, stuck in the wall, a little bit clumsy, couldn't fall back. Device probably couldn't believe his luck that he was really blind. It's not moving in the corner of the arch area. This could be Astralis, I suppose, their first round here. Do we have a force buy? We actually do from G2 here. FAMAS coming out for Body, a UMP as well. Shoxy with the 5-7. CZs for Kenny S and MBK here. Nothing too aggressive, just holding up towards the quad here with the pistols. Not sure this is going to work out for the French side. Let's see what they can do here. Faster play now from Astralis. Contact play towards Arch. First skill will be very important here. Apex surely goes down. He does indeed. Nice shot from Dupree.
Kiabi's so tempted to go a little further around the corner. He will. Flashes out. 2 players immediately in front of him. Realize this is it, but get the second kill on MBK. He'll wait for Zipix to come out from the apartments instead before going down. 3 in the library. Reading the Chronicles of Thorin.
Well, CT's probably just giving in at this point, wanting to save their weapons towards the B side of the map. Like we said, Astralis coming in with a looser playstyle. And you know the money's going to be low like that. They probably are going to be force buying in. Stays a 4-man unit, 1 watching the flanks. Flashbang around the corner to hit the shots. And Dupree, very good job to take down Apex, kick things off. Kiabi getting the information, finds 1 kill at quad side as well. Stick together, make sure the refracts are a possibility. 1 player comes up the apartments, finishes off the job. And they are hunting, and the hunt is successful. They find their prey. Shoxy is the last player to go down. No one will be saving any weaponry from the G2 side. 2-2 now, almost certainly going to be 3-2, considering that G2 have to take a full eco here. Best they can really buy is some PT50s, maybe a couple of Deagles here or there, but money's starting to be a massive problem for the CT side. In terms of the cash, Apex got 3,300. That's not really good news. You want Kenny S to have that sort of money. We need him to orb going forward. They really need to establish themselves to try and aim towards that double orb setup. So, indeed, Apex goes for the Deagle. Nothing really else purchased. We have 1 flashbang. So, we have 4 players heading towards B. So they try and flash over and try and catch them out. Go for a full stack potentially here. So, it's a more conservative approach. Once again, staying as a little wolf back. Astralis head towards Banana, trying to have that refract potential as the Mac 10 will throw itself into the site first.
Wasn't the anticipated bounce. Silly shutters.
There he goes.
Flash over to Vice. Jumps back away. Has to be careful. Clave doesn't put him down. That's the assist on it anyway. Device will follow up with one on Kenny. This player, Apex, no Deagle magic. 3-2 Astralis. They pull back the lead after going down early. And they'll maintain control, but the ops come out for Kenny immediately. No double op setup because they can't afford to do so.
He can barely afford that op. He's got AWP, no armor, no nades, no kit, of course. He's had one flashbang to work with here. Body yet to bite. That's the fourth M4A4. Everyone not got a single kit. They need to work harder for these frags. They can't have that passive mentality right now. They're relying very heavily on the retakes and allowing Astralis to get the map control. They can't do that right now. About those kits, about the utility to hold them at bay, I think it needs to be challenging. I want to see Kenny S get a little bit more aggressive here and try and find that first pick. Doesn't do it just yet. He's holding towards the top and middle, but not fully committing. Device, he's going nice and fast here. Unarmored heads in front of him as well. That MAC-10 can do a lot of damage here.
A lot of damage and a lot of gain. Dupree this time toward apartments. Zipix has taken his turn. Speaking of, he takes bomb back down toward the top of alt middle. His Device looks now toward B with the MAC-10. Kenny didn't go aggressive as I thought he might.
No, that's what we need to see, I think, anyway. We need to step up, like maybe a little bit cagey considering he hasn't got the armor to work with here, but mid control granted once again. Dupree at the end of the apartments. This is looking very difficult for G2 to hold off. They've been forced back to this side itself. 4 players on that side of the map, and I assume it's his body alone on B. It is indeed. He's at the coffins, already been tagged up. No head up, not a huge deal with his current position. But they could just walk into the bomb site. He's going to have a very difficult task to find multiple frags here. One flash over for him to fall back. This will be the banana split coming in. 2 towards Arch, but these players might struggle here.
Kenny still falls back toward the library, smoke down in front of the Arch.
He just called, he's like, leave me here. I'll see what I can do. Go join the team.
Well, Dupree is going to slip through. Oh, did Kenny? I don't think Kenny saw him. Dupree had a perfect chance. He's actually going to go back toward the library, though, and get caught out by NBK. So, in some ways, missing out on Kenny starts to favor toward G2 because they can't follow up with a kill, and Device will go down to body immediately after the plant. 3 playing 5, no kits on the G2 side. Good tag up from Glaive, damage done. Apex down to 20, and Zipix in a corner where if they walk through from Ruins, he's well positioned. If they walk through from CT, he's in the open. They do go from Ruins. He starts off well. Glaive backs off as they take the lead in the round, but Apex pulling back against Zipix. Gary, they're on the defuse again. 10 seconds. They have to peek it. Kenny hits the first shot, but there won't be time.
Yeah, even if he finds that kill, the 10-second defusers wasn't going to happen for him. That's really gutting. It was a nice retake, but that's why I said GT probably had to go more aggressive to start. Couldn't allow that play to come in. Needed to find that advantage at the very early stages of the round. Kenny S, good job to find that final frag, but ultimately does not win the round. He needs to go for the save of the AWP, but the money just not there to really do much with this. He buys armor. Do they force around him? I'm not so sure. It was touch and go for Astralis, I have to say. Instead of going for the 5-man formation that we've been seeing so far, actually going for that banana split we've been calling it, smoking off towards the right-hand side of middle, getting arch control and pushing through towards CT spawn. They took a lot of damage. Dupree told his teammate to go back, just leave me here. I'm done for. I'm low HP, I'll try and see what I can do. He gets the information, calls the rotations coming through. His teammates ready and waiting at the B bomb site. Managed to get that bomb down, but Zipex, great positioning, managed to win the round. This is what we wanted to see. Kenny S had to do these sort of plays to win these rounds. This is the fallen boost. Let's see if we can find any sort of frags here.
Well, they're approaching underneath of it. Ooh.
Ouch.
Yeah, that hurts. Good thing he has armor. Shoots him in the head, though, so maybe not apply as Dupree gets closer with Kiabi to the top of it, and they back off again, just pushing the CTs around, essentially.
Yeah.
Back to the site you go. Thanks for map control. Let's go do that elsewhere. And A is the plan now.
Yeah, Kenny has fired a shot as well, so he'll rotate towards Arch and try and challenge elsewhere. Could do some damage here, but misses the shot. We haven't really seen him turn up as of yet. Device with the AWP this time takes him down. That's the only weapon that G2 had. That should be the round concluded. It's going to be Dupree focusing on the bomb site. Knows there's going to be someone here somewhere. He takes him down. 2 kills. Shox finds 1, but that's pretty much all they'll get into this. Apex down to 5 HP. It's the body now. 5-7. Of course, the B player rotating in from Arch. Dead now as he gets taken down by Kiabi.
5 straight rounds for Astralis.
Yeah, they're looking very clinical, I have to say. We'll see a pause coming from G2 now. Money's starting to get established. Now they can go for that double orb if they want to. Kenny S not really hitting shots as of yet. He brings out the AWP. Does Shoxy join him? When things get a bit dire, that's when the double orb setup generally comes out for most teams. When you need an adjustment, get a bit of confidence, and you're kind of getting pulled apart on either side of the map. You're not really getting anything at the very start. And this is the missed shot from Kenny S. Let's see how close this was. Pretty dire miss from here by his standards. You expect him to hit that all day long. Not exactly warmed up, it seems. Device takes him down. Round number 8. Shoxy has purchased. There will not be a double orb set up for now. So he goes with the M4A4. Kenny S, 4 kills, 5 deaths. Device on the other hand, 7.
Yeah, very, very good considering it's T-side op Inferno.
Yeah.
Not all have come from an AWP, to be fair, but
no,
still worthy to note.
Here we go, then round number 8. G2 not posted around the last 5. See where Kenny S goes this time. Once again, not aggressive as we're used to seeing. Apex MBK tentatively watch the A-bomb site. Crossfire setup. We like that formation. And it's been out of control. Very basic stuff coming from Astralis. You can see they've got an objective at the start of each round. Dupree goes to apartments. Device and Glaive work towards B. Zipex and Kiabi will eventually get that mid control. It's interesting as Dupree famously always used to go for the boiler. That's his position. And the only bad up there eventually, it seems, but he seems to be focusing more towards the end of apartments this time and trying to get picks in the pit. Looks like a big execution map being set up.
To check the sandbags, it certainly does have the writings of B all over it.
So, smokes towards coffins. Molotov first oranges perhaps. New box as well. They could just walk in through the smoke as well and catch the CTs out who are just about to boost as well. Timings could elude them. What's the play from Astralis here? Classic execution or just walk into the site? Looks like it's the latter.
A walk in and a crossfire already set. They get shocked, but they won't expect the 2 players to be there. So Body from the boost finds both Zipex and Dupree. Glaive does respond, but to get the bomb down, they have a man disadvantage. As Kenny, NBK, and Apex start to rotate, NBK and Apex both have kits. Smart play from Glaive to get aggressive, therefore, because they don't have any control of Banana. Smoke coming out from Ruins, however. Apex is going to know that he's in there and sprays into the smoke. Glaive walks directly into the shots. It's on Device. A WP hits NBK already, but pushed by the Flames. Apex will get round 3 for G2.
Oh, just about. Device with 2 kills there, almost a third, but like you said, the Flames mean he has to change position, look very uncomfortable there. He bets Kenny S once again in the duel. It was a nice play from G2 there, having the boost. Astralis just didn't check it. It's a position that's often overlooked, especially if you kill someone in CT spawn. You just don't anticipate someone else to be there. Nice work by Body. Usually very good for 1 or 2 frags. And looking at his position, whatsoever, assuming a player's on the bomb side there. Does some damage to the third as well. Clay finally takes him down. This is the shot where he took down Kenny S. Spotted the foot there, got a little Q and manages to get the kill. But the problem is, only 1 player surviving for G2 there, man. So, lose this round, double eco territory. Need to be very careful there. Astralis, lots of cash, even after reinvestment, 4K per player.
So Dupree up toward the boiler. Flash out. Into the hallway, lets him get around the corner and start looking through the doorway. Smoke comes therefore across from Archway. That's covered off by Kenny on the AWP. Smoke lands, Molotov in. Push through it, Flames for Device. A lot of damage onto Dupree as well. Dupree, meanwhile, is going to throw a Molotov back in the direction, which forces NBK up the stairs. Kiabi has the crosshair placement to go in accordance. Apex is trying to keep his vision, but is in the corner and not detected. First kill goes his way after Shox gets Glaive, follows on the bomb. It's dropped library side as well, which means it's in the vision of the CTs as they push through from Moto. Apex is baiting out a lot of attention and a lot of shots that allow Shox to get closer. It's only Zipex. It'll be back-to-back rounds for G2. Unless he can clutch it. He's known for it. He's got the first shot and he got the second as well. Zipex on Inferno. Never ceases to amaze.
That's so sick. What was that shot?
Welcome to the clutch.
Was that the sticker he had? Or the spray I had go down? That's pretty nice. I like that. Why are they pushing him though? That's beggars belief. I don't know why you would do that. He's in the pit. He's got a plant. You've got a crossfire on him. And then you go 1 by 1. You give him the opportunity to have single targets there. Sure, he hit some 6 shots here. That's really, really nice. 3 kills in total, but Shoxy does not have to make that challenge. To be fair, that's unbelievable, the fact he hit that shot. They're running at him. Why give it to him on a plate? Make him work for it at least. Oh well, there it is. G2 down to the eco. Have to force fire into this. Like I said, it would be double eco. 5-7 CZ and a UMP for Apex. This is looking pretty dark. Why are G2 not even contesting like Banana at all? Why are they not pushing down? They're known to be an aggressive side. We know that's going to be coming out eventually. They're not doing it whatsoever. They're just holding back in the standard setups there on the bomb site at A. 3 players there. And sometimes even body alone, they're not showing any presence of B whatsoever. And I think Astralis, they know they don't have to expend the utility. They're just sticking as a little unit here. That was a round G2 should have won, sure, but it's not the GT I'm used to seeing.
And look at the money situation. I mean, would have gotten a second round loss bonus, not win money, and the reinvestment that came out, it would have been break point this round for Astralis. Once G2 back without any weaponry, Dupree finds MBK pretty straightforward. Zipix, he and Zipix have been taking turns, I suppose, entering from apartments. They're going to try and come out. Good follow-up from Shox and Apex, however. This does go into pit position. And they go.
3 versus 1. Body once again left in a very difficult scenario. And he has the pistol. A little body armor to work with, but that's about it. Might just have to try and save his body armor. That'll be something. They will certainly be eco next round, so it's not like it's going to do too much for him. We'll go towards the apartments this time. Astralis, another successful anti-force buy round for them. 2 frags given away, but it will happen due to a very talented side. We've got to see more assertive stuff now for CC though. It looks a little bit too easy for Astralis. The fact that Glaive's given so many options right now for fakes, double fakes, executions, contact plays, like he can just throw the entire strap hook at the server right now and do whatever he wants. We'll see what happens as we enter round number 11. It has to be another eco, like we said. Economic turmoil for G2. No HE's purchased. They're just looking quite flat today. They're not the flamboyant French side we're used to seeing.
I mean, even when Kenny goes to a glass cannon in a situation when they don't have money, that's when you expect, okay, Kenny's taking control. And even that round he sat back. You're right, they're not really pushing at all to try and force the issue.
Yeah, 4 kills with Kenny, yes. He's one of the players that really needs to carry them on this one. He's known as one of the better AWPers on Inferno, and I haven't really seen much at all. Missing a lot of shots and getting overrun by Astralis here. We'll see what happens. So anyway, Mac 10's back out for Dupree. Well read by Astralis. It will be another eco here. It means you can just have a lot of run and gun potential, farm some extra cash, and if you do go down, it doesn't give too much away. Open sight. We like those.
Yep. Not too bad. Bomb planted very safely at default, therefore. Dupree wants to get money, so he'll push in. I'm surprised MBK doesn't swing out. Body's waiting for him to push all the way through. Instead, Glaive gets Apex. Sound of a wooden table breaking in this game still doesn't sound right to me. It's very distinct, though, for whatever it's worth. Henry, just thought I'd let you know. Dupree does get one on the SMG. Eventually, they're all inside of the arch. Dupree's going to go to the pistol to find more success. DK goes down. Another round for Astralis. They're now up to their 8th.
Yeah, it's looking a bit too easy for them. I'm not that excited about this game as of yet. GT needs to wake up. Round number 12, 8-3. If you're tuning in via audio in favour of Astralis on the T side. A couple of Famuses now for G2, still not fully established here. They've got 1 kit. Kenny has his glass cannon once again. Let's see him go aggressive. Regardless of glass cannon or not, going for that T-steps pick, something along those lines, even the boost towards Banana once again. Start hitting some shots. Let's start getting excited about that prospect of the AWP. Once again, holding up, and they will go for some Banana control from what I can see. They're actually contesting a bit more this time. Body and Shoxy could be pushed through though. Body with the Famus, it's going to be Shox to open things up. They might have the advantage here. Make it twice. They take down Dupree and Kiabi.
Glaive on 14. Zipix on 5. Flames for Device down to 44. Utility winning the war for G2.
You see how much better it is? When Astralis now, they're not going to be comfortable going to that area. They now will start to expend more utility. Before, they were Molotoving that sandbags position and the corner as well. They realized they didn't have to do that. Now, you've shown some presence there. You might actually have a chance of winning some rounds here and not allowing Astralis to fully execute absolutely everything.
Oh, Device. Did he spot? Back of the site? I suppose not. They wouldn't be in that position. It looked like he spotted something moving, but he was boosted up, wants to try and find the pick. They do have the new box boost in position for G2.
Objective now for Astralis. They probably know they can't win this round, right? It's a 5-3. Look at the HP as well. But every kill they can find is very valuable. CT money, we know, is in a horrific state. Get 2 or 3 kills. Sure, you don't win the round, but you've got lots of money. You've got close to 16k. Hold up. and see if we can cause any damage here. Device gets an opening here. We knew that Shoxy is boosted at the back. Body's beneath him as well. Lovely little setup for this sort of round. Device will probably tweak by the top there. Doesn't happen. Shoxy takes him down. Molotov's decent, but won't get Shoxy out of position.
Play from Xyp9x on the trade, but he's alone. No clutch this time. Downed by Body. 4th round for G2. We head into round 13. Money, not amazing, but double up is out.
Here we go. This is when they feel they're most comfortable. Haven't seen it yet. Round number 13, we finally get a glimpse of it. It'll be Shoxy and Kenny S, of course, as the final buys on your screen right now. 8-4. They kept 4 players alive in the previous round, but still they were limited. They have to reinvest in terms of all the grenades, the defuse kits, and you can see it's not a head ammo. It's not a huge deal against the AKs, but it's just indicative as to where they're at right now. Residual cash and all grey, about $1,000 per player on the G2 side. Round number 13 here. So presumably now, Astralis, after feeling that presence toward B, will have to expend more the Molotovs again. Probably use their smokes to get towards the top. We'll see if that happens. Device and Glaive trying to get there once again, but Kenny S finally hitting a shot. Takes down Xyp9x.
dupreeh just checks quickly out of boiler doorway.
That's his 5th kill just to know as well.
Yeah, and it's the first time Kenny's had an opener on the AWP that they can actually maintain, so... Shocking as that is, let's hope they can convert. Rotation back over toward B. Shox doesn't hit with the AWP as a flash goes back in their direction. It will slow down the charge of Astralis. A lead on the rotation. First baseman's halfway to second. It's Apex in the arch that wants to go back over toward B. Another counter smoke from the CTs as well. Timed with 45 seconds, so around 30 they could have that go on an attack. No movement back the other direction. All 4 still in Banana. And in they go. Through the smoke. Flashes over. Boost up. Catches it. Body does go down to Device, but Shox is still waiting with the AWP. And 2 for his troubles. And call it a double. He's got it. Device goes down to the pistol as well.
Much better from G2 there. The double orb setup paying off, it seems. The collateral kill for Shoxy there. Holding off his Body. Took the aggro away from him as well. Astralis, a simpler play that time. Didn't go for that really standard map control, pushing the CTs back. Just went for a full-on B commitment now. We're going to a pause. Still plenty of money for the Astralis side, but finally, that's what we wanted to see. A dominant round from G2. Shoxy very happy with that situation. Could have got 3 with the AWP, but finishes things off with the pistol. Through to the smoke as well, of course. Glaive headshot through his teammate. It's the P2000 to finish things off. So Device couldn't find the kill. So double AWP setup prevails. Kenny S opening things up. That's better. That's what we want to see. But MBK, Inferno was historically one of his best maps. And most of the lineups he played, he really hasn't turned up at all here. 4 kills and 11 deaths. Can't recall anything from him so far on the CT side. See if he can get into this game as well. Body, quieter one. 8 kills, 10 deaths. He normally plays towards B, and Astralis, to be fair, have been focusing primarily on the A site. Let's get into round number 14. 8-5 is the overall scoreline now. Device back in the AWP, trying to open things up. I'm sure he'll be waiting for the aggressive push at the very start.
Smoking behind barrels, top, actually just in front, excuse me, at the top of Banana. Device will get it closer and checks immediately for the boost position. Shoxy shake. Xyp9x, again the one to enter, this time not alone though. This could be a fast charge. Flashes over from middle and out the side. Spotted the apartments. Trade by Kiarby had to be effective, but Kenny, it looked like he was going to hit the shot. Apex was the one to do so. He will go back out. And we know inside of the A side he's so lethal, but dupreeh's got the lineup instead. Takes down both of the G2 players holding off the push for the bomb plant. Look at the HP for dupreeh though. It's 1. Just 1. He'll stay in quad position. Try and hold off. In fact, he's going to rotate back in, and with the AWP up close, he still manages the shot. Gun barrel shows. He gets banged down by Body. Glaive sits back. No kit for Body. Smoke out to quad. Knows Glaive's gone toward the pit. Glaive's going to be patient. Knows he hasn't touched the bomb yet. Sees the shoulder. He now knows he's certainly not going to touch the bomb anytime soon because he wants to challenge the fight. And Glaive will get the better of it.
Another clutch going in favour of Astralis there in the pit once again. Dupree, I want to see that shot from his POV if possible. That looks very nice. 1 HP. We did say in the pre-game, technically the second real for Astralis. We've hit him hit some amazing shots in those sort of situations. On a phono especially as well, at that A side, seems to be his stomping ground with that particular weapon. And the 2-on-2 eludes G2. And it's going to be 9-5. Very impressive in terms of the clutch potential of Astralis. Zipex winning that amazing round earlier. Glaive winning another one there as well. Here's a shot from Dupree. Oh, wow. That's dirty. That's filth. I can't believe it. What?
That's pretty good, that reaction.
Oh, man. That's so cool. Little nose go through the corner of the bomb side, of course. Kenny S, let's find an opening pick, though. There we go. 5 and 4. Double orb setup still out.
About all they've got out. UMP, 5-7, 1 M4. It's MBK, as you mentioned. Hasn't had too many kills in this game.
That's all, really. 5 kills for him total.
Flashes both directions. Small glance toward the arch. Chalks. Quite get a shot in, and it lets Device get closer. He had no idea. Body in the corner. He's going to switch fast enough, doesn't realize it. Body's going to go back to the pistol. Pistol might work if Kirby can't hit shots. And Dupree's going to join him by wrapping back through CT, but MBK will be at the top of Banana, and then Dupree actually has to stop. Kenny should know that he stopped as well because he had the off in position so that he would know he's not gone around the corner toward Ruin. And therefore, he's come back. Yeah, he's still searching for Dupree. Versus Op, Kenny goes down to KRB though, and MBK now has to pull it off with an M4. A lot closer, I think, than KRB was ready for, but the shot's coming through, gives the position away, and KRB finds Astralis, number 10 on a T side as we hit the half.
Another huge clutch there from Astralis. G2 can't get rolling here. A couple of the key names not really arriving at all in this key game. As mind you, it's a 2-1. Whoever wins this map will be going to the playoffs. You still have another life available, but it has a 2-2. Means you have to go through in the final round. G2 looking quite weak here, quite flat. I think there's a sentiment we can take away from that map. The fact is they weren't really pushing a lot. They weren't looking confident. I think the operative word normally is assertive. I use on the CT side of Inferno, trying to get that map control, push the T's back and not allowing them to have full control of every situation. It's a little bit too easy for Astralis at times, but to be fair, they did win a lot of clutches as well. But G2 had the upper hand. Some of the big names not able to deliver a solid performance. Half number 2, 10-5 in favour of Astralis. Win this pistol, potentially 13-5. That could be the game. See if G2 can bounce back. They normally do. Very rare to be able to stomp out a team like G2. We'll see what happens as we get into a faster play from them. They're going sort of second middle. A rush, it seems, as Kiabi and Dupree to hold off. Dupree surely not going to be expecting this, but he's ready, it seems. Gets the first shot, but that's all he'll get.
That's all he gets indeed. MBK still trying to battle off with Kiabi. He naturally has to retreat. Get a reload for the USP. So T's take over CT spawn, but really don't have much to work with in the fact that Glaive just won a very important fight at the bottom of Banana Device. And Zipex therefore are ready for the wraparound, and they'll win that exchange. Yeah. Shock's not really much to do inside of the library.
If he had more HP, I could possibly get on board that he clutches this out, but with 18, I'm not so sure. KRB just sit in the apartments, wait for the bomb sound cue to come in, face him, call for the rotations, and shouldn't even be a chance to plant him. Shoxy trying to check and investigate the A-bomb site here. Needs an opening. 3-on-1. It's a lot more realistic than his current situation.
Goes for the silent jump.
Ah.
Not so silent.
The big thud. Gives it up. So he can get a plant down here. It's probably as good as it was going to get. Very passive stuff from Astralis, but they doesn't guarantee they win the round here. That should be it. Calvi finds him, so at least Shoxy gets the bomb down there. They went for a complete mid-rush. No real method behind the madness. Just 4-second middle, one holding Banana. Straight up there, Wolfpack formation, try and get that first frag. Dupree got it. There's a refrag coming in, but Kiabi, he was the key player there. Did a lot of damage from the corner, slowed them down, funneled them towards CD spawn as well. They weren't happy to go challenge him on the corner, considering they didn't know where he could reposition towards. They go towards CD spawn, Dupree finds him, Device as well, and unfortunately, they managed to spray them down quite tremendously there with the range of the USPs, and bomb goes down short. Here's the replay of Device. Nice work. It's good information. Kiabi did a great job to get them into that CD spawn position. Oh, wanted to do it again. New meme was about to be born.
Well, reenacted.
Yeah.
I think I've taken it. I thought I was the best.
You were really good.
Thank you. I thought so. Dan just was couldn't handle me. He was a little jealous, I think.
Yeah, he always has been.
Seems it. Seems it, Dan. You're gonna have to get that together, son.
Force buy from G2, of course. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Tech 9's UMP out for MBK. Let's see what he can do with that. Very quiet game from him so far. We've got smokes to work with, 3 of those. Definitely a chance of winning these rounds. 3 towards the apartments. Probably similar smokes we saw from Astralis. 1 towards Arch, 1 towards the library. Flash over, trying to overwhelm. We get that first pick, had the snowball effect with the Tech 9s. Could work out. Done considerable damage for Kiabi's there to bail out Dupree.
Yeah, bail him out indeed. Device will chime in for one. Puts his hand up and volunteers. It's voluntold as Apex. It's backing off for Shocks. The Kiabi gets another kill. 12 rounds now. G2 certainly do look flat. That could be concerning as well going into, if they can't pull this back, going into round 5 when they're 2-2 and it's all on the line.
The reason I said that was a desperate buy, obviously they got the bomb down in the pistol round, and as we saw Astralis do, you're forcing out AKs in the 3rd traditionally, but they went for the force buy in the 2nd. Bit of a gamble. Did not work out for them at all, so they have to be full eco here. And that 13-5 is almost certainly going to be coming in for the Astralis, and that's such a comfortable game. You can afford to be a bit more audacious at that point. You can be pushing down, you can be challenging, and trying to get those first frags. You've got the control of the money, and he's got his nades coming through as well. That just boosts the confidence having his early frags, get them fired up. C2 wants a bit more.
Play from Kirby. Vice also pushing down, will find body. Relentless. G2 looking a little bit restless. We'll get found, MBK goes down, and we get to the gun rounds, the good stuff. The meat and potatoes, as you would say.
As I would say, yes, for sure. 13-5 does come in indeed. Dupree in the game. Look at the scoreboards over here. 23 for Kiabi, though. He certainly is. Very good stuff. Glaive, to be fair, he always drops off in Inferno, I have to say. Like, he's one of those players you see disappear on this map. Not whether it's the role or the way he plays this certain situation. This one, he's on 7 kills right now. Obviously, they're doing very well, that's fine. But he always just seems to have very poor performances on this particular map. G2, pretty much all are. No one's really stepping up for them. Shocks, he's had a few rounds, but only 5 on the board so far. MBK still on 5 frags. Kenny S not much in front. He's on 8. 13-5. AK's coming out. It's a bit of a bonus round situation for Astralis. A couple of UMPs coming in, but Device did upgrade to the AWP. No one fully committing just yet. We have got Glaive established at the wall position at B. You can see on MBK screen right now. A full back from the flashbang. They're still trying to challenge for the first kill. The UMP, that's pretty brave, I have to say. Down he'll go.
Shot. Pretty brave indeed. AK starts it off. MBK gets closer to the top of Banana. We'll slow things. Maybe roast a few marshmallows.
Could do that.
Make some s'mores. Cute little date, Hank.
Do with one of those.
Cute little date or a s'more?
Oh, both.
Oh, this is
Hello.
perfect, yeah. Take your fingers off the flute. Oh,
be careful.
Ooh. I was going to say weave your colored yarn, but nearly gets turned around. That's Dupree. Gets away with it. Nice. He's also got position now to find Shocks. They know they're all over the A site. Gary hasn't had to peek. Doesn't get a chance to. Kenny finds it instead. Zipix goes in all the way toward Library and fires back through smoke. So Bombplant comes in despite Dupree's position. They may still win out this round, G2. Shows Device can't hit it, and Kenny with 10 HP fires back with the AK-47. Q in Dupree, body. Puts him down quickly as well. It's all on to Zipix. 1 versus 3 again, and they know exactly where he is. Kenny's still taking the fight despite the damage taken and sustained early on. He's pinned Zipix into the corner. There's no way out at this point in time. And time gone. MBK will solve it anyway. Goes to number 6 for G2. And okay, bomb does go up, but they got far enough away. So Kenny survives 8 HP. They keep all the weapons up and get ready to try and break Astralis down immediately. They need 2 in a row to do so.
Better from G2 there. Starting to hit some decent shots there, especially Kenny S taking down Device towards that library position. That was technically a bonus run over for Astralis. A couple of SMGs coming into that one, and they still have money to work with it. Still have Glaive on the UMP. Like we said, quite a quiet performance from him so far, but the M4s are out. Device on the AWP once again. He'll be flashing his teammates out. They'll go for some banana control. The smoke's deep. Try and push the T's back and challenge at the very start. There's the Molotovs as well to help them out. GT holding back. For Kenny S, he's also got the AWP himself. Bomb still down at T steps. And you can see on the mini-map right now, CT's getting some control. Lead the player in towards that logs position. Normally go for one frag, sometimes two if you've got some teamwork going on with the flashbangs. That's nice. We didn't see any of this from GT whatsoever in the first half. It was a little bit disappointing, I have to say.
It was indeed. So having Zipic so far down, Glave's not going to abandon him. He actually is going to stay by. They're going to go immediately in front of him, but they check it. Shocks. It didn't look like they were going to when we snapped over to the view from Zipix. Glaive back in the sight, little pop flash. He's got to go now. He's got to go very quickly. They see it. They know where he is. He still blinds them. UMP! Ooh, almost gets two as MBK strikes. But they don't have a smoke towards CT, which lets Device take down Kenny, and they'll put it out late. Bomb plants will certainly come in. Apex will watch bottom of Banana. The HP for MBK is 2. That is all he has to work with. Does have the AWP, so he still can find the angle. Shock shoulder shown. Dupree tries to fire back in. Shocks goes down to 7. It'll start to favor Astralis, you might think, on the retake. The only factor that doesn't is time. There are no kits in play currently for Astralis. So damage is all well and good, but they need to get the kills. Kirby will find one, traded back by Apex. They know that he's toward Banana, and MBK solo gets peeked out by Dupree. Device just has to watch off as they go for the defuse. 10 seconds. He's got the kill. He's still not convinced they're going to get the defuse, though, so he's heading for the hills to save the AWP. And they're not going to. Oh, they do. They just got it. I thought it was done as well. That's about as close as you'd like.
Yeah, you could see him covering his eyes. He wasn't 100% sure, but about half a second to spare there. Lovely work from Astralis. Decent retake. Did the damage early on as well. It was Dupree pushing through Shocks and Smoke and Ruins. Takes that kill down eventually. MBK as well. You can see it was very chaotic, and Apex trying to do what he could. Go for the full defuse. One player holds his breath, goes that 10 seconds, and his teammate has to deliver the frag, which he does, absolutely. We'll have a look how close that was. I can't really tell.
Yes, that's how close it was.
Can't really tell. That's about as close as it gets. And you can see the GT boys, that's going to be gutting their morale. And there it is, hand over the face, hope for the best. It works out.
Device was gone. You know that that classic meme?
Out,
yeah, you know that meme shirt, like it says Bomb Squad on the front, then it's in the back, it says, if you see me running, keep up. That's basically what it was. He's just like, good. I'm out, this isn't happening.
Well, unfortunately, going to stick around a little bit longer here because they have to force buy into round number 21. UMPs, Tech 9s, a couple of AKs to work with here, but it's looking quite dire for G2, I have to say. This could be the end. Then win this round, that's match point. Playoff point for Astralis, and G2 have absolutely nothing to work with. Need to at least get a bomb plant down here.
A bomb plant at the very least, because Astralis find 14, and as we mentioned, they had to break them. They had to win that round back-to-back to take all the weapons that had been accumulated and wealth away from Astralis. And Zipix, being one of those players, he'll find 2 on the way through. Look at the Blade go back in. Wraps up the round. It's map point and playoff point for Astralis, defending champions, 1 round away from making it back into a legendary status.
Yeah, I hate to be a pessimist, but that should be it. 15-6. I haven't really been excited by GT's performance at any point in this game. They had some decent rounds. We got let down by the clutches. You can't take anything away from them in that respect. Astralis have won pretty much all of them every single time. It's one of those frustrating games. Fortunately, some of the big names haven't really turned up. We'll see if they can find anything here in round number 22. 15-6 in favour of the Danes. Tech 9, CZs, P250s. Doesn't sound that interesting. We'll see whether they can maybe find the first frag. It's Glaive, though. We said he had a quiet game so far, but looking to rectify that. He takes the first kill and the second as well. Nice headshot towards Kenny S. 5 on 3. It's taken down eventually by Shoxy and gives him an AK. And they still have the advantage here. Into the 1:30 mark. Nice play by Glaive.
Play indeed. Shocks. Work his way out of Wheeler in a very interesting fashion, I guess. Knife out, smoke not down, just gives himself up. Perhaps they've just given up on the game.
Well, they haven't looked like they ever arrived, to be honest.
It's fair.
So,
fair point. MBK partially blinded. Zipix won't go all the way around the corner. But Astralis about to move on. Can take the night off. G2 won't have such luxury, and I would say for them, sit back down at the practice booth, boys. Get to work, yeah. Because the round 5 matchups aren't going to be favorable either. Astralis in it, 3-1. We'll move on. Our 3rd team to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I want to focus more on G2. It felt like they lost that game than Astralis winning it. They just didn't really... You can see the setup. They looked dejected. That's not G2 playing on the server right there. That's a team I haven't seen before. That was uninspired, lackluster Counter-Strike, not really thinking in terms of what can we do to get in their faces, what map control can we go for here. Double Orbs came out once, that was quite decent, but it's too late. Round number 13, those Double Orbs came out. We talked about it so much in the pre-game, you need to see it earlier on to have a chance. They got very unlucky in the clutches, I will give them that. Win a couple of those, potentially, and you would feel like they probably had a stronger chance of winning this game. But Zipex at 3v1, I think that was the end of the game right there. They couldn't really recover from that situation. Money was just in the bin throughout, and everyone from Astralis looked good. Maybe apart from Glaive, very quiet game from him, but some of the big names, Kenny S especially, we expect him to go massive on Inferno generally, and he was just missing very key shots, didn't seem to have much impact, wasn't going for the really aggressive stuff. It seemed to have lost his mojo a little bit in that game.
Mojo?
Yeah.
Every time someone says lost my mojo, I get that reenactment from Austin Powers in my head, like over and over. No, my Paul, over to you.
You've got to get up earlier than that to catch me out, Matt. Well done, nice commentary. A 16-6 win for Astralis. The champions get their major campaign back on the right track, and they are qualified for the quarterfinals. Not so for G2, though. Gents, Henry made a point in that at the end. He said he felt like G2 lost that game rather than Astralis won it.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Seems a bit strong, but I kind of know where he's coming from in the sense that that wasn't the same G2 that we've seen in the last couple of months.
I mean, yes, it was an underperformance from G2, but it didn't feel like, you know, you say that when a team has a lot of advantages in the game and then they throw them away. This was just Astralis straight up smashing G2, and, you know, the round that you can look towards and say G2 threw it away was the 3v1 this round from Zipex, that, you know, they could have just went for the defuse, didn't really have to chase him like this, maybe played it a little bit better, but that's just Zipex, you know, he is going to have a round like that. But this was what was concerning. I think this was what Henry was referencing. You could see how Kenny, for example, looked very dejected, was the exact word he used throughout that game. It just didn't seem like they were, you know, ever that they found their groove in this game.
I don't even think it's about finding their groove. I think they had a terrible game plan. Like, they weren't playing for banana control, they weren't playing for apartments control, they weren't playing for control of middle. I don't know what they were thinking and just sitting back and going, hey, we're just going to let you execute on us and hope that our players, which they are good players, are going to multi-frag time and time again. And Paul, I actually got some real stats this time for you. In that game, when you're Astralis on the T side and you're getting 11 bomb plants over the course of the game and you only have to eco once, you're not going to have a rough time buying guns and forcing them into awkward situations. You flip that over, you've got the side of G2. They had 2 force buys and 3 ecos, and one of, like, you had a force buy and an eco come off the back of that 1v3 from Zipnik. So that's how pivotal that 1v3 was late in that first half. And every time, you know, Astralis got an entry frag, they converted the round on the T side. So if that's not a damning stat, I don't know what is. When you eventually saw the guys from G2 going aggressive, Kenny with the AWP and apartments, they went for some banana aggression as well. You saw the rounds were much closer, but still, Astralis look like they're in full control to me.
They do, don't they? Yeah. I mean, that was a much better performance from them all round, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. They, you know, the Inferno game against SK was a bit of an outlier because how strong SK's T side was in the game from Cold Zero and all of that. We said it even yesterday, if those two teams play 10 more times, you're not going to see the same scoreline. But you could see Astralis' preparation on the map and, you know, just how they wanted to start as T. They got the choice of side and then decided to start as T on Inferno, which is not something you will see very often. Just tells you that they had a clear game plan coming into this game. They wanted to be the ones dictating the flow of the game from the very beginning, and it paid off significantly for them.
I don't know about you, Yanko, but if I was an in-game leader and I was Glaive in that scenario, and I got banana for free every round, and I got apartments and boiler for free, and I'd just be sitting there going, well, I haven't had to use any utility, haven't had to take any damage, we're only 30 seconds into the round, not even that. What would you guys like to do? Where would you like to hit? What execute would you like to use this round? I think they got way too much freedom, and this is what we saw from G2 against Gambit. They just looked scared. They weren't being proactive on their CT side, and this has come up once again.
Okay, we've got Kiabi waiting in the player area, so let's bring him in now. Kiabi, very well done. Congratulations on making the quarterfinals.
Thank you. Means a lot.
Great game as well. I mean, did it worry you a little bit? You sort of thinking, hang on a minute, the gods are stacked against us here. We've got SK in one game, now we get G2?
Yeah, we never seem to get lucky with the draws in the Swiss systems, but we're used to it, and we just want to focus on playing our A game. Even though we get the harder opponents, we take one game at a time. Yeah,
did that feel more like an Astralis performance? Did it feel more like, championship material?
Yeah, it felt like we finally managed to play on our terms. And that is just really important for us, even though we had anti-stratted them. We played on our game, and that's why we also decided to start on the terror side this game. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be in the playoffs again.
Absolutely, in the quarterfinals again. Yanko and Sponge alongside. Gents, questions for Kelby?
My question for you is, why did G2 not go aggressive on the CT side and try and get banana control? Because I'm lost.
Yeah,
Happy Bell.
I think at some point they had decent money and didn't decide to do it. But in the beginning we were rolling pretty well, and I think they had some economy problem, if I remember correctly. But it didn't feel like the real G2, to be honest. We expecting them to play a bit differently. Maybe they over-anti-stratted us. That happens sometimes, where it's really important to play on your own terms, and today they didn't.
Cool. I just want to know, like, how awesome it is to have a guy like Zipex on your team, and just, you know, 1v3 comes along. It's a very important round. They just won the previous gun round, so it's a reset round for them, and you're like, yeah, we could have played that after plan better, and then he just wins the round for the team.
Yeah, it's great to have a guy who always can clutch the rounds. We even started making jokes in the chat, he's going to clutch this, and we always do that because even though it's a 1 versus 4, we still take the chance like it's 50-50% he will clutch this. So yeah, it's perfect, and we have a really good dynamic, and it's really great to prove that we are here prepared and we can also play on our terms.
Yeah, that's a good point actually as well, because a lot of people have made the question. You know, you guys skipped ESL1 Cologne, took more time to prepare. Is that going to pay off for you, or was it foolish and everything? I think you've answered your critics now, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know. We have a lot more to prove this tournament. Obviously, we are the defending champion, so we're here to defend the title and play our best. And the best preparation for us was to practice a lot and not participate in too many events. And no matter how it goes, we know it was the right decision. It was hard to sit back at home and practice 10 hours a day instead of playing tournaments. But no matter the outcome, we are really satisfied with the decision.
Good stuff. Thanks for joining us, Marcus. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you in the quarterfinals.
Thank you.
There's Kelby there from Astralis. They are through to the quarterfinals. Yet again, the defending champions get a chance to defend their championship in the best of threes, and they are never more dangerous than when it gets to that stage.
Oh, their map pool's scary, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is where they can really turn it on, and they can make teams struggle, really wince, because they do have a bigger map pool than most. But it's good to see them with a convincing victory, right? We had those 2 matches earlier that were very close. They lost, that was a bit of a blowout. Now it looks like they're back on track, and I'm excited to see them in the playoffs. Yeah, scoreboard also shows that the ring rust might well have been completely removed now, Yanko.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see Dupree topping the ADR charts, and it's interesting how, you know, his role has changed a little bit. He's not the exclusive entry fragger for the team anymore. Sometimes he's on the lurk role. You could see when they want to go for that B-side split or wrap. That's where he's towards that arch area and just trying to sneak in, get some information, get a couple of kills. So it seems like he's more comfortable as well, having to switch between those two roles where he can have maybe a bit more impact, and he's been playing better, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's take a look at the MVP for this game. And it's Kelby.
Yeah,
I mean, it's 24-11, 92.6 ADO, and pretty much stats in every box, so there's not much you can say about that other than it was a brilliant game. Yeah, I think, you know, the team as a whole executed the game plan well, and he was just, you know, lucky to see the frags coming his way. I suppose that's the best way to put it. Those are nice games, though, to play, aren't they, when it just happens? Yeah, you know, especially from an in-game leader perspective, right, and the coach, I'm assuming as well, you're very happy when everything seems to pan out. So, you know, someone has to make the kills, and good on Kyobi getting the MVP.
Adds to Chad's point, you can see that he has 10 kills in retakes or post-plant situations. So I think it's difficult to talk about this game because of the way G2 played, right? It seemed like they were never in this game or had a chance to come back at any point, and that is because of the way economy game work. I think Kirby was spot on saying that they may be try to anti-strat Astralis too much, like playing super passive and saving their nades. We saw in that one round where Shox got the collateral with the AWP, how they were saving smokes on B for the entire round, and it worked out, but that was like one-off situation where it did work out. A lot of the other times, they just had no idea what Astralis was going to do.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. We're headed towards a break. Next up, though, another match in the quarter-final bust-down. Which one of these two teams is heading into the last out? We're going to find out after the break. This is what's coming next.